Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is a little bit of a different type of video that I normally do. We're in a live trade. So um it's actually not going well, and I wanted to start this video a little bit earlier. The reason why I didn't was because I was on the toilet. Um but it doesn't look like this trade is gonna go our way, so this might not even be much of a video. But to catch you up real quick, bullish on the day, clearly, right? We had our stop loss down here to be definitively wrong. We are very close to touching it. We were close already once, close already twice. We actually bought at 801, so this nice bullish green candle following it up. But we came back down and then we came back up and we bought on this candle again, right? Because again, we're showing that we're bouncing off VWAP. Really nice candle, thinking that we're going to continue towards these highs. But as of right now, it doesn't look likely. It doesn't look likely. So I think the one thing that I want to talk about is being comfortable being in drawdown. So it sucks to lose, right? And it sucks when you're agonizing over a trade that is completely underwater. But one of the most important things that you should never do is add to a loser. So even though this trade looks like it could lose, right? I'm not going to add down here to lower my cost because again, it's losing. There's no point. I want to make sure that one, we start getting above VWAP and we start closing strong, nice bullish green candles to the upside, right? On high volume. If we're able to get that, then it looks more likely that okay, we start going back to break even and then we start going higher, right? So we start targeting these levels here at 697, 698, and then possibly pushing higher above 700. So that's what I'm hoping. We'll see if that actually happens or not. But um, that is the first lesson about being comfortable in drawdown. The second lesson about being comfortable in drawdown is just making sure that you're doing everything according to your plan, right? And that things happen from a probabilistic sense. So, taking this trade, we were bullish, right? On the day, I mean, you can see this is Sunday open. So we gapped quite a significant margin. And right now, on a higher time frame, you can call it a bull flag. So my stop loss was placed in an area where you could be definitively wrong and be okay. And if I had placed my stop loss here, like I'm sure a lot of other people did, at least if they're trading the 1 minute, then they would have already been stopped out. I'm giving it time and I'm giving it leeway in order to see if we do bounce back up. Now, again, like I said in the beginning of this video, it does not look likely, right? So I am not hoping, that's the next lesson I want to talk about. I am not hoping that this continues higher, right? I'm just letting things play out. I'm allowing it to do what it does. Now, of course, I would love for it to come back to break even at least, right? But with the way things are going, it doesn't look likely. We're on this downtrend right here. And also, too, there's no volume pushing it back up. There's no volume pushing it higher, right? So it looks like that this will be a loser, and that's okay, and that's completely fine. Um, the next lesson that I want to talk about in terms of being in drawdown is making sure that you're risking appropriately, right? My maximum loss limit or personal daily loss limit is $750, right? So I have $750 that I like to risk per trade because I only like to trade once a day for the most part. So I need to make sure that my risk does not exceed that. If it starts exceeding that, then I start having heart palpitations. I start getting to the point where I'm like very nervous about what's going on, very nervous about the trade. Right now, I am completely calm. Now, for some people, risking this amount on an XFA is too much, right? And for myself too, it was just probably back in September. That was probably too much for me. Now it's not, right? Because I don't mind um, risking this much just because of the fact that I know my winners will be bigger. So you can't have bigger days without risking more. And I don't mind losing up to $750 per trade. It gives me about 3 trades per XFA that if I lose max in a row, then the account is blown, which again is completely fine with me. So that's why I risk that amount, but I am comfortable with how much I risk. For myself, this is a little bit of a bonus, but I like to stagger how much I enter and how much I risk. So it doesn't mean that, oh, I have $750 to risk, that I'm just going to start risking the full amount. There's no way I could do that. I always like to make sure, okay, we enter one contract. In fact, let me see if I can put the executions on so you can see. But I always like to say, okay, we enter one contract. Once we're done entering one contract, right, we wait and see. If we continue in our position, then boom, we add another one, right? In this scenario here, we added one. I was very comfortable adding here. But then our thesis was going the opposite way, right? So I didn't add until boom, we bounced heavily here on higher volume, as you can see. So I added another, right? But then you can see I didn't add on this candle. Why didn't I add on this candle? Because we didn't have increase in volume. It was a great candle, but there's no increase in volume. And then look what happened. We dropped, right? So because of that, I'm not adding on that candle, right? Where I would look to add here is I would look to add if we have an increase in volume blasting through VWAP on a full body candle. So if we can get that here, absolutely, I would like to add. You can even see here too, we are on volume profile value area low. So this is a discounted area. This is a really nice area to buy, but I really need to see us go through VWAP here, which right now, again, it does not look like that will be the case. So let's see what happens. Um, I will probably edit this video, which I normally don't do, but I will do it for this live trade. So we'll cut back to see what happens once the trade is done. So I will see you guys. I mean, actually, let's just hold on for a bit because I could be stopping out here. We'll see if this continues down. If we start breaking these levels here, then I know I've lost, right? But again, if we start bouncing from here and we start heading higher, then obviously, then I know the trade still has a chance. But for myself, I know usually whenever I enter a trade, I know within the first 20 to 30 minutes, like whether I've won or not. And because of the fact that it's been about 30 plus minutes, and we're still underwater, most likely this is a loss. It's just about managing the loss and making sure that you don't do anything dumb in order for it to balloon, right? We know that we're going to lose about $459 plus commission if it hits our stop loss. I usually like to stop out before on technical levels. So we know that it's going to lose, right? At that area, we know how much it's going to lose for. So that's what you have to do. And you can't allow yourself to, especially if you trade one trade a day like myself, you can't allow yourself to be like, oh, well, I guess I could take another trade because I know it's going lower. It's like, for myself, I know, okay, we're probably going to stop out here. I know that once my thesis has been broken, like I'm going to start doing so many mental gymnastics that entering another position just doesn't make sense. Now, I know in my last video I talked about my only criteria for a second trade, which again, it's if it's a tight stop loss, if it's still going in my original direction, if my thesis has not been broken, that is the reason why I will enter a second trade, right? Still risking the same amount that we can possibly risk. But sorry, my girlfriend's talking to me real quick. What? Yeah, I have it, babe. I have it. She was asking for some food I had in the fridge. Um, but um, but yeah, it's like that's the only reason why I would take a second trade. But for the most part, I'm waiting, and I'm seeing what's going on with that original trade, and then after that trade's over, that's it, unless I tilt, right? But we're trying to get away from that. I don't want to make another video talking about how I had a horrible week. At least not now, right? Maybe a few months from now, we have a bad week, it's whatever, but I don't want to talk about that now. So, yeah, guys. So, while this is happening, you can see it's taking its time. I thought we were going to stop out there. We did not. I'm still waiting to see if we have higher volume pushing it up higher, right? Because this is a good candle right here, but I need to see higher volume heading higher. It's a good thing right now in terms of price action that it's holding this area, but it doesn't look like it's going to hold for long. We are perpetually under VWAP, which is this purple line right here as well. We are hanging around the value area low level, but again, if you're at value area low, you want to see buyers step in and start pushing it higher. That is not happening here, so it looks like we will be stopping out pretty soon. So I will wait before I decide to cut this out. If we start bouncing from here, then I'll stop the recording and then I'll edit it to make sure that it comes together. But it does look like we will be stopping out here, so let's just see what happens. But yeah, let me know how everyone's Monday went. I know this is a different type of video than I normally do, but I always like to show what I do in my trade recap. So I thought maybe today this is um, one of those days where I can show live what happens, regardless of whether we win or lose. I actually thought it would be a much shorter video just because I thought I was going to get stopped out really quickly. So I was like, okay, well, I guess that was it. But so far, we're still holding, but it definitely looks like we will be um, losing this trade. So let's just see what happens, though. We'll go from here. But I will stop the recording after this candle. Let's just see what happens. Oh wait, nope. Looks like I will hold for one more minute. Yeah, looks like we're gonna stop out. Because if we start falling through with higher volume, right, and there's no bounce, yeah, we're stopped out.
Order filled.
So we do stop out there. So small loss. Um, that would really suck if it did bounce from here and it was just like boom, like let's go higher. That would really suck. But with the way price action was going, it could still happen, but it's more likely that we start heading lower here. So um, yeah, but that's it. Um, it's just one of those things that happens. We didn't have enough bullish volume. We didn't have enough for us to push higher, and we accept that, right? And now, let's say too, this is the last thing I'll say as well. Let's say too that this did end up here. Let me just lock my account, right? I do have to take a trade on my other account, so I will do that now. But let's say that it stopped us out there and it continued higher, right? Which, to be honest, it looks like it actually could be doing right now. That would really suck. But let's say that does happen. I'll take my
Order
10 points
filled.
here because I needed to trade this account today. If it does end up happening like that, then so be it. You know, we have to be able to accept that and we have to say, hey, like we ended up losing,
Order filled.
right, off of that. So it's just one of those things where I have to be able to accept that and just say, hey, like we got stopped out and it reversed. So it was a good trade overall and it was a good level as well. And maybe I should have given it a little bit more room. But the way that things were looking at this point in time, it doesn't make any sense for myself to continuously stay. I mean, you can even look at the 5 minute as well. There doesn't look to be like anything in terms of a clear cut bounce that's going to happen. So it's a good place to stop out and um, we go from there. So this is the actual account. But yeah, guys, that is it for this video today. I hope you guys are doing well. This is a live trade example of a loss. So hopefully, maybe next time I can show a live trade example of a win. Um, that would be really awesome. But again, it's just one of those things where we have to be able to accept these losses. You can also tell here too, we're keeping our losses really small. So anytime we lose, right, small loss, everything's under $500. Not saying that every single trade or every single loss will be like that. It won't always be under $500, but if we can manage our risk well, if we can keep our losses short, then it will definitely do much better for us. Last thing I will say, because I continuously get this, I know this is the last thing I'll say. Trades, number of trades. The reason why the number of trades, guys, on Topstep shows 11, 16, 19, right? And it only shows 2 for today is because it depends on when I add. So if I add heavy, right, as in this trade or this trade, then it's because I'm scaling in. It doesn't mean that I'm taking multiple trades, right? You can see I added twice today. I didn't take 2 trades, I only took 1 trade, right? So it only shows 2 trades. So this is just the amount I'm scaling into trades, and that's how you get these bigger winners if you're winning. But if you're losing, you don't want to add to them. So you can see 5, 3, 2. This one was 9 just because I think the ATR was a little bit lower on that day. But you can see that, okay, we're scaling into trades. That's the reason why it says the number of trades. So many people come into the comment section and they're like, 81 trades, bruh? You know what I mean? Or 70 trades in 3 days? It's like, no, that's not what it means, guys. But anyway, hopefully you guys are doing well. Different background, different setup. Uh, just moving away from the normal setup for today's live trade. But hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys are trading well, having a good Monday. And yeah, keep trading stoically. I'll see you guys in the next video.